just feel like everybody's always disappointed in me, and I never live up to anybody's expectations. Hey, thanks for listening to all this. You're one of the few people who treat me, like a person.
You're welcome.
The movie is like my love letter to my mom, and just like overall, just like trying to end that part of my life where it's just like, I feel like maybe we got to a place where we could finally let go a little bit. And, there's art to it.
What did your mom think of the movie when she saw it?
Oh, she was hysterical. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Whole family in fucking tears.
Yeah.
Never been prouder.
Because you did a screening just for your family.
Yes.
And I would assume that would be terrifying. I know I was scared of the idea of all your family in a little screening room.
I was horrified. It was so scary, but it was fun to watch what they found funny.
And what does your mom think about what it's saying to her? Like, can you have a talk with her about the point of the movie?
I think she got it. My mom's been out. My mom's been going out.
She's been going out on
She's
dates.
been coming back. I don't know if she's going out on dates, but she's like, I'm going to hang out with friends. I'll be back at like 2, 3 in the morning.
Wow.
And I'll be like, ooh.
Yeah.
I'll be like, okay. So like the last month or so, she's been like really social and shit. So I think she got the point.
When we started kicking it around and it became more and more personal, was that something you were comfortable with, or?
I always been pretty open, but like I never thought I would like see it. It's much easier to talk about it than it is to like, because you're doing a version of yourself kind of, so you don't want to like be disappointed in yourself while you're watching yourself. The hard part was being in the firehouse, because I don't go to the firehouse. Like I had to hang out with those boys again.
He's doing a good job. Getting ready for his career, working at a car wash.
Why do I have to clean this thing anyway? It's just gonna get fire on it.
In some way, comedy is what saved you, right?
Oh, absolutely. It gives a purpose and like stuff to do. And like, it was the first time I was ever happy was going to an open mic and just trying out a joke, and it got like a little bit of a giggle. You're like, yeah, that feeling's the best.
Your mom said to me that she had to make a deal with you that she would allow you to go to Manhattan by yourself as a child in order to get you to go to school.
She's smart. My senior year at public school in Staten Island, you would get out of school at 11 a.m. And my mom was like, not happening. She's like, that's not happening. So you're coming to the school where I work your senior year, and you get out at 3. So I was like, I just won't show up to school. And she was like, I will allow you to leave from the schools in Brooklyn. I allow you to leave. You can do stand-up as long as you're home. I mean, you don't even it doesn't matter what time you're home, as long as you get up and go to school. And I was like, deal. No problem.
And so she just let you roam alone and hang out.
So I was
with
just like in
comedians.
weird bars with like DeRosa at like 4 in the morning when I was like 16 years
Joe
old.
DeRosa.
Yeah, DeRosa.
Took care of you.
Yeah.
So basically you found this group of comedians who are accepting of a super weird, partially bald, depressed child.
Yes.
And in a way, did you see it like, I found a world of acceptance, or like parental figures?
I think I just was like, wow, I could tell these people how I feel, because all the open mics is just people trying stuff out. So it felt like a AA meeting for me, but with jokes.
Don't worry, Mom. I know your daughter got smart and went to college and abandoned us. But I'm still here. I'm gonna be here forever.
Yeah.
How was it for you just working with Marissa Tomei?
That was just sick. She's just like an Oscar-winning actress. It's crazy. I couldn't believe that I was in the same room. It just didn't seem very real. And then she looked exactly like my mom. And then we started getting along kind of like me and my mom. And it was like really intense and cool. And like she's like old school. Like she's an actual actress. Like her on and off set is just 2 completely different people. And it was just like, again, a learning thing. Like where you're like, okay, make sure you know your fucking lines. Do not fuck this up. Yeah.
She's not messing around.
She's not messing around. Like she's ready. Like if you're gonna make her, like cry at a picture of a tattoo, like you better fucking be ready to, like don't mess her up.
She's very serious about making every scene incredible.
Well, yeah. She also really cared about my mom. She like cared about me as well. She really wanted to make it like half of the time for the movie, she's like, are you actually okay? She's like, are you okay?
Yeah.
So like, she really got into that spirit, and it really was really great. And her and Bill are just so great together, which is awesome.
You got to work with my daughter Maud as your sister.
Yes, sir.
Who was the one person who would challenge you in the movie and call you out on everything.
Yes.
And I remember on the days we would shoot that, you genuinely seemed irritated to be called out on everything.
Oh no, yeah. Well, she's very precise.
Yeah.
She's like, like she's working on crying.
Yeah.
So when she comes in and she's crying, like, be ready, Pete. Like, you gotta respect other people's work. Like you gotta learn that there's other people that are getting in their own space. Like, I didn't know that. I didn't know, like, you can't go up to Marissa Tomei before a crying scene and be like, tell her a fart joke. She's gonna be like, what the fuck? Like, you don't know shit like that. So I was very lucky to be able to learn through a friend's set with a friend's daughter as well, instead of, what could have been the worst.
It's never been done before. I looked it up. I Googled it. It's never been done, not even as a joke.
Because no one wants to go to a restaurant and watch people get tattooed while they eat. It's gross.
It's the best idea ever. Ruby Tattoosdays, where everyone's welcome. Chicken and tattoos.
There's a scene in the movie that was a hard scene to shoot where, for the first time, your character goes with them on a ride-along and just watches them put out an apartment building that's on fire. And that was one of the harder days for you.
Yeah, that was pretty sad. It wasn't sad, it was just kind of just like, even though it was like fake and all set up and whatever, it was still just like, wow, this is what they're doing, 5 days out of the week.
Yeah.
It's not just them watching Scarface and shit. It's like they're, leaving everything behind just to go in and save people. So it was really just like seeing that for the first time in person on camera was a lot.
When we were shooting the movie, we have everyone dressed up like firefighters. Some of them are real firefighters who were acting in the movie.
Right.
But then the real firefighters are like 2 feet away waiting to go out on a call, and then every once in a while the bell would go off.
Yeah.
And the real ones would
stop
leave.
shooting and
And it was, it's scary every time they leave.
Watching someone leave not knowing if they're going to come back is the fucking scariest thing ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially if you haven't talked to them or like you didn't, something you want to say to them. You know what I mean? Like, I was lucky. One of the last nights before my dad died, I had a sleepover at his house and we watched like Rambo or some shit, which was probably one of the reasons they got a divorce. I was like 7 just watching Rambo. But like, if you don't have closure, like it's terrifying to know a fireman.
I like your tattoos. What are those numbers on your arm?
Oh, that's the date my dad died. He was a fireman. Died in a fire 17 years ago.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Don't be. It's fine.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Not your dad.
When you're doing comedy and you're making a movie like this that has, some discussion of mental health issues in it, what are you trying to say to people who are struggling by being so open about all of this?
Oh, just that like I have these issues and I'm able to do this, or they let me do this sometimes. So whatever you have it's going to be A-okay.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have this shit. I think they just don't really talk about it.
Yeah.
But like, luckily, Kid Cudi talked about it for me when I was growing up. That was super helpful, and I think he was the pioneer in like getting people to be open about mental health. And at the time, I think it scared a lot of people. But now it's becoming a more topic of conversation, and I think it's a really helpful thing, especially for like kids online that are just like not doing so great.
And the main advice is that it'll get better.
It always gets better. It'll get worse again too, but it always gets a lot better. Whenever you're at your worst, it's just like it has to go up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I had a therapist who just said you just have to be in touch with moods. Like, oh, this is that bad mood that comes.
Right.
And it will pass.
Yeah.
But if you're in it, maybe don't do anything important right now.
Right, yes. You learn how to deal with your crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's a really important thing. Also, seeing a therapist is cool.
Yeah.
Just having someone to talk to.
Do you like seeing a therapist?
It's super helpful, and if I didn't do it, it would be counterproductive.
There was a day where we had a scene in a bar, and we decided to have a lot of your dad's friends in the bar. And before it, you really were worried about it, but on the day, you seemed to like having them all around.
Yeah, it was really nerve-wracking at first because like they're regular, like we get to deal with emotions all the time through watching movies and making stuff and like healing through that. Like these guys haven't seen anything in 20 years.
Yeah.
Or seen me or any of me. So like all of this is just a fucking straight shot to all of them. So I was just really worried about them. But then having them there made me more emotional and more like wanting to do a better job and put me more in the zone. So I think it helped a lot having them around.
Your grandfather's in the movie.
Yeah, he is.
What is his name?
His name's Stephen Davidson, and he's a fucking animal on set.
Yeah. And so Stephen Davidson was the guy that got you interested in movies.
Yes. His father owned a movie theater, so he just grew up watching every single movie ever, and he had to babysit all the time, so he just made me watch every single movie ever, but they were like his, so I know like Ernest Borgnine and all those old guys.
Yeah. So he was the one that made you love movies, and he had to watch you, so he'd make you just watch old movies from the 40s.
Yeah, he made me watch old movies from the 40s, and then he got a camera, and we started making our own. And my mom got really mad because we would make like Mission Impossible, where I would like jump off of his shed, and like come down from the ceiling like in like cowboy boots, and I'm like 6 years old, and he would go, "What? We're making movies here."
Hey guys, have fun out there, all right? This is what we do. We make movies.